welcome to the Marshaverse. This is a place in the rest of the universe where I come to make make sense.
From the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, it's midnight in the Marshaverse, starring Marsha Warfield and her two sons, Stephen Roberts and Skillz Hudson, as the problem child.
Good evening. Welcome to Midnight in the Marshaverse. It's midnight and I'm Marsha. This is the whole verse. Anyway, we're going to have a great show tonight. I'm so happy. I'm always happy when old friends drop by and we can have a conversation. And this young man I've known since he was a little kid. He's one of the first of my sons that I adopted way back in the day. Ain't had no business adopting nobody because I ain't have nothing to offer except I was just a little older. But he has gone on to do many, many things that I think you'll be interested in learning about. His name right now is Chokae, but we're going to find out all about him in a little while. We like to get together on at midnight because it's that time between yesterday and tomorrow. It's that magic window into a whole nother dimension, a whole nother realm, a whole level of spirituality. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But first, we have to do our regular rituals, and share our refreshments. In other contexts, they it might have been, pour a little for the ancestors or whatever. In the Marshaverse, we have a little cannabis and cognac, and we welcome you to have whatever refreshments you like that make you feel good. That a midnight snack kind of thing, or something to kind of help you relax. So tonight's cognac is Branson. They told me when I bought it was 50 cents brand. I don't know and don't really care. But we're going to have a little, hopefully, that it does represent a black owned brand. I always like to support the community whenever I can. And we're going to pour it not into the regular brandy snifter of a brandy snob. We're going to pour it into something that's much, much more special. This, last week I mentioned that I liked have drinking out of cups that I'd been given, like on different shows, the Sherry Shepherd, Tamron Hall, Night Court cups. And I do. My wife, my boo baby, heard that. And unbeknownst to me, went out and had this made. It says M. Warfield. And underneath in very small letters, it says Angie's wife. So we're going to have a little cognac in my wife's cup. Not too much because I probably won't even drink it all. It's just nice to have a little once a week libation. In addition, my youngest son dropped by today. We're going to talk about him and the day he's had. But he dropped by today and I offered him refreshments. We both indulge in the cannabis from time to time. And I offered him some a hit from my whoop fam. And he's still blitzoed from that. So I'm going to join him. Hopefully, I won't get as blitzed as he is. There you go. Because I'm older and wiser. And it's my Zenko. Yes, that's nice. All right. So now let's talk about midnight. When I started this podcast or webcast, because we have pictures, I wanted to do it at night because I'm a night owl, a children of the night, and in comedy and in show business, period. After the show, late at night, there's a tradition of entertainers getting together and relaxing and entertaining each other. When I was a young comedian, we all hung out at various restaurants until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, trading information, jokes, whatever, just hanging out. I wanted that kind of experience. A lot of the people that I wanted to have on didn't want to stay up this late. On the East Coast, where a lot of them live, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. They're like, "Fuck you! I'm not getting up. I'm not staying up until that." And I understand that. However, it was still important for me, for some reason, to maintain this midnight get together. It feels right to me uh, because of who I am, but it was more than that. So I looked it up. What was it? What's the significance of the midnight hour? And I'm going to do a separate video that delves into it. But for African Americans and Black Americans that are here in this country, midnight is significant not only from our experience in this country, but from West Africa. The a lot of cultures, not just African, have reverence for midnight, the portal that it represents, the promise of tomorrow and the experience of today. And I found so much history of hush harbors and watch nights and liberation, anticipation, hope, uh, that it deserves its own story, not just for what it is, but because it helps give you a window into the reality that Black Americans have created a whole culture in the dark. They had no other option, and they used it. They got together. They planned. They loved. They danced. They prayed late at night, where the only light was the moon and the North Star. And these things became significant in all kinds of ways, and have have followed us through until today. But you'll if you're familiar with rhythm and blues, the theme of midnight comes up a lot. And when we were teenagers, uh, the song "Midnight Special" became the theme song for a television show that introduced a lot of people. It was hosted by Wolfman Jack. But the Midnight Special has another meaning before that that really helps tell the story of where we are and who we are. That being said, the spiritual aspect of it really, really hit me viscerally because I've always said that I was called to this business. I did not uh, really chase it until it caught me. And even in my one woman show, the Book of Marsha, there's a moment where I talk about being called to this. And then I was retired for a while and came back. So that calling had happened again uh, in a different context. And this midnight thing, given everything that I'm talking about, who I am, my age, my whatever, uh, help to help me understand my own spiritual awakening. Looking back into the whole spirituality and whatever surrounding my calling into this business, it made me think about a lot of things. How as a little girl, uh, I was called as an 8-year old, and I have forgotten that. I have forgotten that. As 8-year old kid, my mother took me to the Regal Theater to see Smokey Robinson and the Miracles because I was in love with Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. I didn't understand why everybody didn't love Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and I just had to see uh, Smokey. I didn't know what a stage show was. I didn't know what anything about going to the Regal, going to anywhere. The Regal was our Apollo, as most cities. in the urban diaspora like to claim. Oh, we have our own Apollo. Um, and so we went to see Smokey, and we didn't get into the last show. I was, like I said, 8. I was a pissy kid. I had to go to the bathroom all the time. We got inside, we're crammed in there, because they sold way more tickets than they had seats. And we crammed in there, and we had waited in line all day. And my mother said, "Do you have to go to the bathroom?" I said, "No." For some reason, there was a sense of anticipation and build. I did just, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And we sat through really crappy movies. Uh, the really crappy movies, and it didn't matter because the show was coming. And then there was this magic after the cartoons and everything was over. There was this magic when the lights went down. The lights went down, and the curtains closed, and all you could see was the dark and these little lights under the curtain, and you could see feet moving, and then you could hear boop 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 boop, bands tuning up, and the adrenaline was just rushing through me at that time. When the curtains finally opened and the show started, I think Mary Wells was the first act. I loved Mary Wells at that time. I was a Motown baby. Motown started in '59. I was born in '54. I grew up with the Motown. But I watched that show and the anticipation and built and built. And I was so fascinated with these. I had never experienced it. I didn't know what to do with myself. These people were not real. They were real, but they were magic. They were huge, and they were far away, and they were little, but they were communicating with me on a level that I didn't understand intellectually, but I somehow understood as an 8-year old. And I just wanted to get backstage. I don't know why. I didn't know what backstage was. I just wanted to get backstage and just be around that twinkling magic. There's no other word for it. And so I kind of filed that away. It's an experience. Everybody wants to be around glamour. We all want to have, we don't, most of us never find a way to reach, celebrity status. A lot of it is crap anyway, to tell you the truth. But most of us are just, you know, yeah, we go see shows, we go and have a ball and stuff, but we don't see ourselves on that stage. I don't sing, I don't, And so when I found stand up comedy and I got that calling, that was the magic I felt as an 8-year-old. And it was as natural as breathing. I never, ever, ever, ever considered not answering that call. I never, ever thought about, I'm going home. I never, from that point on, I was being guided uh, beyond my capacity to understand. And so it kind of sounds, a little far fetched, but when you think about it, it's all entwined. The feelings of community and tradition and legacy and spirituality and all of that stuff that lies dormant because we're given negative hoodoo and all this kind of stuff, and you don't want that jungle stuff. You be glad you ain't swinging from a tree. Stupid shit people say. But the reality is the community, the kinship, the working together, the keep on going. That's a through point, it's a through line through our entire history. And when you can see it, the continuum, that it's not just the Chitlin circuit, it's not just the Harlem Renaissance, it's not just the Delta blues. These are all parts of the same tapestry. This is the same reality. And to see how these circumstances we find ourselves in right now, where the truth is fucked, everything's fucked. But to see how in that we lose even more of the awareness of the accomplishment, the beauty, the contributions of Black Americans in our country, it makes me say, well, yeah, it's fucked. But somebody gotta try to see a better world, to see not just a better world, the best in the one we have. And when you do that, uh, I think we're on our way to some. And it led me to a realization that seems like it's not connected, but it is. I am not. I am not just a feminist. From now on, I am a female supremacist. That's why I invented the Church of Jesus. Women not only deserve equality, they deserve uh, uh, worship. Women create life. Until you can do that, until you understand that, until you consider that, you ain't never going to be equal to nobody. And I think everybody should be a supremacist. I am not just a female supremacist. I am a black female. I am a gay black female supremacist. And since white supremacy ain't never going to give up any of its perceived power or supremacy, then the only way we can get equality is if we become supremacists too. I'm better than you. You better than me. We all better than each other. Now we can talk. It sounds crazy, but I think you have to start. We have to start seeing the godliness, the capacity in ourselves. You have to see the goodness in yourself to consider yourself any kind of supremacist. And the way we're indoctrinated, we don't even encourage ourselves to see ourselves as equals. We do things subconsciously that let me know that we don't always see ourselves as equal. I noticed that a few years ago when I was going through airports, and I would see the black people move out the way. The white people would just keep walking. They would go take all their space. The black people would just kind of move out the way, let them go by. Fuck all that. You wait for me to move, you're going to bump into me. I'm taking all my space because you're not better than me. You don't deserve this space any more than I do. And so once we start embracing, you know, instead of apologizing and asking, I, man, I don't need your approval. We stand a chance of figuring out, like we always have, how to get around, because white supremacy goes crazy every certain amount of years, and they do it at stages. Every 100 years or so, they go fucking crazy, and it ends up with civil war and shit. And then black people have to, bring some cool and bring the temperature down and push the ball forward. And then they go crazy in stages every 20, 30 years. And we have to give them their cool back because we've been developing that. We've been living our elevated reality all along. So we can sit back and look cool because basically, what it is, they get ready to go crazy real much. And then we watch out go crazy. And we can just lay back and chill and then figure out what we're going to do next. And then we do that. And we don't pay no attention to y'all. So anyway, that's my uh, that's my conversation for tonight. And so that's my rant for the evening. It's a little longer than 2 minutes, but fuck it, it's my show. Anyway, now it's time for me to introduce my special guest. I like having people on who I have a relationship with that we can talk about uh, things we've done that to us are just memories, but to other people are history, and kind of maybe give people a little insight into what those times really were, and really and truly, you know, audiences don't really know me. Y'all don't really know me. Hen's mama and Roz and other characters I've played, but y'all don't really know where I'm coming from. So I have to reintroduce myself. Plus, there are a whole bunch of new people who wasn't here around, don't know who the fuck I am at all. So anyway, back when I started, I met this young man. He was doing stand up, and he was very preppy and doing very preppy comedy. In fact, somebody reviewed his act and called him a very funny valley boy, and it was so cute, but kind of true and everything. But we somehow uh, we bonded, and even traveled. He When I had an award show for young people, he traveled with me, and one of the other people who traveled with me was driver and security, and Phil, and my friend Reen. And one day we were sitting around, you know, in a Ritz Carlton hotel, pretending like we belonged there, and just chilling. And Phil decided to chime into a conversation and said, "Well, you are what you eat. So, dickhead, pussy face, asshole, nut breath, motherfucker," and went around the room to it started with me, then went to my friend, and then he just smoked, and like he hadn't just cussed us all the fuck out. Anyway, that's how the kind of relationship we have. I have so much affection for him, and I'm so glad he's here. Please say hello to Chokae Kalekoa.
Well, it's close enough for jazz. No, that's actually
Okay,
spot on. That's
thank you
spot
so
on.
much. Hi, honey.
Hey, how's it
I
going?
didn't meet you under that name when you were being called.
No,
Uh,
no, I have like 8 names. I actually had that name when I met you, but I wasn't using that name.
okay,
So yeah, so that over time I started to use that name. That's a Native American name. There's a ceremonial name that was given to me that I wasn't using mainly because I didn't really get what it was about. Because when you're given a name like that, there's always these layers
of
to it.
course.
So I was very hesitant to use it. And then over time, it just made more sense to
All
use
right.
that. Yeah. And
But
Kalekoa was another name given to me by my Hawaiian kumu, my teacher there. And that was out of the blue again, because I was never one of these people who would go to a spiritual teacher and say, I want a spiritual name. Because God knows we've all had friends, come back after a retreat with.
no, ain't nobody ever gave me no kind of name. But did you feel like you had to earn it?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That I felt like I needed to understand it before I could use it. So I never expected to use Chokai, which is my Native American name, or Kalekoa, which is my Hawaiian name from my teacher there. So I wasn't expecting to use either one of them. And then I don't know how it happened. Just one day I just decided to put them together, and I was just like something clicked.
But you're also known as Papa Witch.
Papa Witch, yeah. Now
Yeah.
that's another one. Papa Witch had been around for a while. As a matter of fact, in the mid '80s, mid to late '80s, friends of mine, a few friends would call me that because of all the ceremonial stuff I was always doing, always going on retreats and helping people, with ritual things. And so it was funny when I was in my 20s when calling a guy Papa was funny. And then I kind of grew into it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking like a Papa Witch right now.
But now, so um good- I- are you a shaman?
Uh, Technically, yes. However, I would never refer to myself as that. Um, I don't refer to myself as a medicine man either. However, I am. But it's like I I met I've met so many different teachers and healers over time. I got away from all the labels. And the one that I rest with now was given to me by Chief Leonard Crowdog, who died a few years ago. I started doing ceremonies and rituals with him. And yeah, to cut the story short, it's he just referred to me as a traditional healer. He said, "You're a traditional healer." He said, "What you're doing is the old way." He said,
So
"You're doing the old way." He told me we got a lot of new age, medicine men and
right.
women out there, but he mentioned that, and I don't mention it very often, but I mean, you're my friend, so I'll tell you. But I don't. But you'll
Yeah,
notice
you'll
that
tell me, and ain't nobody watching.
yeah, there ain't nobody. Well, the thing is, like, even some of my, clients who get to know me more, they go, "Oh, but I never see any of this on this part on Facebook or or Instagram." Or I go, "Yeah, there's a reason for that." You
Right.
know. So,
Now, some people of a certain age will uh, know you fondly as Randall.
yeah, that girl. Let me tell you, that is one of the funniest things. Because I so don't look like him at all anymore. But every now and then, when somebody finds out, they really they just don't believe it. Like, are you kidding me? We thought we were going to see more of him, and blah 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 blah. But I love it. One of the fun things about about that is I got a note from Cree Summer,
Hmm.
and Cree said, "You have to check this out." And she put a link, and it was something about, it was one of those "where are they now" type of things.
Right.
And, and they were going through the cast, and they got to me, and they had decided he's become a cult leader
Ah, okay.
because someone found some photos of me from a ritual I did with the Temple of the Goddess. When it's basically a group of witches,
Hmm.
but not necessarily a coven. But somebody found a photo, and the comments, that's what Cree was laughing at. She was totally laughing at me because the comments were hilarious. One of them just said, "They got it."
Uh-uh. So how did you get, because I also know you from even before that, how
Hmm.
did you get from where you started as a child to On Beyond Randall?
Oh God! In the beginning, I was just I met Bud Friedman in Fresno. Bud had brought a group of comedians to He already had improvs all over the place. He had the San Diego Improv, he had LA Improv. I think he had San Diego at that time. LA,
Yeah.
uh, San Francisco, and so he wanted to try something out in the San Joaquin Valley to see if something would take there. So he brought this show with people like Pam Matheson, Fred Willard, uh, oh my God, Jim Carrey, um, uh, West. Oh God, something. I'm forgetting. But anyway, there are a
Right.
few other
Yeah.
names. He brought up, including, and the headliner that he brought was Paul Rodriguez, because at the
Okay.
time Paul had his show, aka Pablo,
Right.
and so they decided to do a laugh off as a publicity stunt, and whoever won the laugh off was going to open the show. I was doing some theater across the street from where they were going to do it, and we were joking about it. Some friends of mine, we were just like, "Hey, I'll do it if you'll do it." And we were like, "Oh hell no!" We were laughing at each other.
Right.
So I decided, what the fuck, why not? I love Paul Rodriguez. This might be a chance to meet Paul Rodriguez. I had no idea who Bud Friedman was, not a clue. So I decided to go ahead and put together what I thought was some material. And since I didn't do jokes and I was not a comedian, far from it, I just made fun of Paul Rodriguez for 3 minutes. and And when I got off stage, I went back to sit into the audience. This is at the audition at this old vintage theater called the Tower Theater in Fresno. Bud came over to me and he said, "You're pretty funny, kiddo," or something like that. And I was like, he goes, "So where do you work out?" And I was like, "What? Like, what do you mean?" And I don't know what that means. Yeah. So and I think he suddenly realized, oh wait, he's serious. Like, I don't do this. I told him I'm doing theater across the street. Matter of fact, I think I was doing a Shakespeare play at the time or something.
Of course.
And so I was like, okay, that's very flattering. What a nice old man. and so and so Paul Rodriguez came up to me and said the same thing. He He goes, "Where are you from and where you work out?" And I was like, "Bro, I'm from right here. I don't do this. I just thought it would be funny. Me
Right.
and a few friends of mine decided to do this." And he goes, "You're a star, baby. You don't even know it."
See?
I
See?
mean, and that was the beginning because I opened the show, killed, but I was expecting that. Okay, well,
I killed. Of course I
well,
killed.
but the reason I say that is because my brain was thinking, well, of course, I'm the Fresno kid opening the show. Of course, they're going to clap for me. So I
Oh,
really
I'm
didn't
just
think,
funding you. I understand where you're coming
you
from.
know what I mean?
But I want to know, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to know, you're a PK, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So now, how did that impact who you are now?
Oh, from preacher's kid to witch.
Yes. I didn't want to really just come out like that. How the fuck you get that far away from where you started?
Yeah, there are a few things in between.
Hey, I'm sure there are.
No, you know what? What I realized over time was that I've always been a witch, so to speak. It's always been there. Um, I was raised very Christian, and we went to church every Sunday, kind of Christian. You know, I played music for the choir, kind of Christian. We did Bible studies and all the whole thing. But from a young age, I was enamored and fascinated with the Bible. It's got everything Lord of the Rings has and more. And any kind of intrigue you could possibly want, from love stories to poetry to rape and incest, and top to bottom, it's got
Right.
everything. So there were a lot of the basic fundamentals that all religions hold, um, that made perfect sense to me. Jesus always made perfect sense to me, like the whole teachings that I was receiving about Jesus. And growing up right after the hippie era, there were still some hippies around.
Right.
And then the whole hippie scene really embraced Jesus. That was a whole that so I had no problem with Doobie Brothers did. Jesus is just all right with me.
Okay.
But anyway, the point is, Jesus made sense to me. The church never made sense to me. So as a kid, I'm not thinking all intellectual about this stuff. I just knew that I was more comfortable in the woods somewhere. I felt that universal feeling when I was communing with nature in some kind of way, or one of the elements. If it's a windy day and I'm just standing there in the wind, just feeling the wind on my face and feeling how awesome it is that I can feel this thing, but I can't see it, kind of shit. So I was doing things that were very connected with nature. So it wasn't that far a leap, but as time went on, things made more sense the more religions I studied. I studied Hinduism. I studied Muslim, Islam. I studied different types of things from around the world at a young age. There
Right.
was a 12-volume set, like an encyclopedia, called Lands and Peoples. And it was sort of like National Geographic in encyclopedia form type of thing. I've read through every single one of those books several times by the time I was 10. And so my idea of the world was expanded. And then when I was in junior high school, I read a series of books called Man, Myth, and Magic. And I didn't take those library books home. And so, yeah, so I was doing things that would be considered a tad witchy or spiritual or whatever, ever since I was a kid. I learned
When
to meditate when I was 11.
Oh, well, when I was uh, researching some of the things about the midnight magic, I uh, realized that um, as people went to different lands, that they syncretized their religion with the predominant religion of the area. So you have a lot of themes woven through. But what I thought was more interesting was how people relate on that spiritual level, so that it's not foreign for Native Americans and African Americans who have come from vastly different cultures to meet
Yes.
on that level. And so when you were talking about different teachers you've had from different what do you call them?
Oh,
Different places,
yeah.
whatever. How do you relate those different and make one seamless Papa Witch?
Yeah. No, that's actually very good
Mhm.
because that really is what you're describing, or what you're bringing up is exactly the main thrust of what I do as Papa Witch in my work with people, my healing and different traditions. Um, there are common denominators that we all share. And when you break down the most common denominators that we share, you've got the elements, you've got the seasons, you've got the lunar cycles, you've got the cross quarter times between the seasons, which in many cultures were celebrated more than the major ones, like the solstices and the equinoxes. The cross quarter times in between were celebrated even more. Those are that time when winter starts to hand it over to spring. So that point in between there, that one's called Imbolc, and that's like February 1st. So that would be a huge thing. But the way I navigate it, and this took a while to really get this, is to keep it simple, and you can glean information, and you should, to me, I felt I should glean information from as many sources as I could. And once I saw the common denominators with respect to all of them, I'm going to do what comes natural. And this is what I encourage other people to do. You know, you don't always have to throw the whole baby out with the bathwater if you've had a bad experience, growing up, because many people are recovering whatever they were raised in.
Right.
and and so they end up throwing out quite a bit, and sometimes they throw everything out, but then they're struggling because there's even especially my atheist witches, which which is a very fun category,
Well,
because um, in the true sense of atheism, this is a theist, this is without theology,
right.
and so that has nothing to do with spirituality. So
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
finding that.
It's almost like just finding the humanity
Yeah,
in nature and letting them exist as who they are and intended to be. It's kind of like getting out of the way
yeah. I mean,
of
we're still.
of our own indoctrination and move away from your incline. It's like little kids; they're inclined to walk up to each other and hi, how you doing? Whatever, and meet. We have made love a dirty word. I've said this before. Love is a four-letter word. It's harder for people to say "I love you" than "dickhead, get off the internet." I mean,
Yeah.
we can call each other names and fuss and fight all day long, but
Yeah.
we cannot. Uh, we scorn and scoff people who lead with camaraderie and not looking for conflict. And so, how do you navigate that kind of world? It's almost like you have this, like you're just floating kind of right along with us, but just a little above. It's
Well,
so not concerned with the rest of the hustle
I
and bustle.
I see what you're saying. Well, you know what? One of the number one things, and this goes back to what I mentioned earlier, is the fact that I learned to meditate when I was 11, from my martial art instructor, and I was going so deep into meditation. I don't think anybody expected that. I certainly didn't. But learning that skill at such a young age, to be able to calm down, to be able to just stop. I got and get upset just like everybody else. I can be mad as a motherfucker. I almost threw an X out of a window.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I mean, this is so I have all those things, but one of the things that helps me with my equilibrium, one of the first things, is meditation, because it's a second nature thing for me. So when I work with a client or work with students or whatever, the first thing I teach them is meditation, sometimes without even using the word meditation, if I find that triggers them into thinking we're going to do some kind of metaphysical hoo-ha.
Right.
So I just want you to learn how to calm the hell down. I don't give a shit what you call it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's really what it is. That's the number one thing. And then it's that constant reminder of nature. We're still part of the food chain. We're still mammals. And sometimes when a person is in a really jacked up place, and I'm working with them, while I'm listening to them tell me what's going on, I'm listening intensely to what they're saying. And simultaneously, one of the first thoughts that comes to my mind is, what season are we in? Because what are the other mammals doing right now? And how does that relate, or does it relate to anything going on in this situation? Because we are all different at the different seasons, and we have different attitudes and energies when we're in. Of course, the biggest divide, the easiest to notice would be winter and summer. And then you've got spring and fall. Almost every human being can relate to the fact that they're different at those 4 times of the year. So sometimes the issue that we're having might tie into, you might be going 100% against what all the other mammals are doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think of that. I was reading about a pantheon of goddesses, West African goddesses, the Mami Wata, who guide you in ways that are unexpected. They're not always gentle. Sometimes to get you to pay attention to what you're supposed to be doing, we have to take everything away from you.
Yeah.
Everything that's comfortable to you, so that you have no choice. And then the next move becomes obvious, and now your life becomes easy. The Mami Water have been satisfied. And so we can talk about a lot of the stuff. I got up against the clock, got my sons chomping at the bit, and I want you to meet and talk to them.
Before we do that,
okay,
just for shits and giggles,
yeah.
I don't do a lot of card reading stuff.
Okay.
And when I do, it's mostly for, I'm not trying to tell the future. I'm not trying to, I'm not doing none of that.
Okay.
It's mostly here's a thought. Let's just have a like what's a good thought for right now. So in just sitting here, like when I was waiting in the waiting room, I was thinking, you know what? I'm just going to pull a card with Marsha's permission. I would just like to pull a card really quick. Okay. So this is the deck I'm using.
All right.
And just gonna go, and then we'll do a simple cut, and we'll take that first top card. Oh, bitch.
Uh-oh. What's that? Oh, yeah, well, okay. Hey, I told you the black female supremacists.
That is
damn right.
That is the High Priestess card that just got pulled live
on national streaming YouTube podcast. I always get nervous when you pull cards.
Yeah.
It's like, oh goodness, what the hell they gonna pull now? And but I'm all the way, yeah, okay. We vibe on the same level.
This is very obviously for a lot of reasons. I just find it really fun that card came up. It has a lot to do with inner work and intuition and wisdom and, a lot of the things that we've been talking about. So, as I mentioned, I don't really use it as a, as a fortune telling type of thing. It's more of, give me a good thought for right now. I'm thinking about a certain thing. Give me an angle that I'm not thinking about maybe to look at it.
Yeah, but see, I also know that you could pull the Ace of Diamonds out my ear if you wanted to. But anyway,
and that's
just meet my youngest son, my problem child, my adorable Marvin Gaye lookalike. Sometimes if you adjust the light just right. Anyway, he's going to tell us about his trip to the spa in a video, and then he's going to come out and say hello to you. So let's look at that spa trip.
Get you a clip.
Give me a what?
A clip. I told you a clip.
I have one. I've just been using and I usually just use the clipper to get the little loose stuff that my teeth can't get. I thought that's what everybody was doing, chewing their nails off.
You It'll be all right.
That's what I've been doing for eons. That's why my shit is messed up now.
I knew he was gonna like it. Anyway, say hello to my baby boy with his grown ass. Skillz, Hudson.
Hey,
What up, y'all? What up,
how's
Cabo?
it going?
Hey,
Man, I'm feeling good. I feel like I can type with my hands and my toes.
uh-uh. That would be a neat trick if you can type with your toes. Anyway, but also also I want you to say hello to my oldest son. He looks just like me. He looks a little like his dad. Say hello to my oldest son, Stephen Roberts. Hi,
Ah,
honey.
there he is.
Hi.
Sweet. Hey,
How you feeling?
everything is good, baby.
Everything is good. Everything is good. Even when it's not good, it's good.
It's okay. Well, that brings dirty thoughts to my mind. I don't know why.
See, and
Anyway,
that's good.
do you have
I
a
brought the
question?
deodorant.
What
Do
did
you
you
have
say,
a-
Skillz?
He said he brought the deodorant.
She said it was dirty. Well, okay.
And you put deodorant on dirt? No. Do either of you gentlemen, you heard this conversation from the
Yeah.
night watch to the things that our esteemed guests has had to say? What you have a question, comment?
Um, you know, in certain religions, in certain uh uh the what is it? Theisms or certain types of religion, they have a mantra or a something that Jesus is what would Jesus do, or turn the other cheek, or and then there's different things in Buddhism and stuff like that. What would you say, like, if you were going to think of a phrase or something that represents your belief in a simple truism? I think you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
What would you
Got
say
a
it
slogan?
is?
Well,
You got a
What
slogan?
yeah, like a
slogan?
slogan. Like you
Sure.
know, um, I think but the simplest of slogans that I would have in terms of just all of us together in humanity is that, we're all in this canoe together paddling our asses off. And when you think about it, that's really just the universal understanding of we're all one. And as cliche as that may sound, we are all one. Every sentient life form in this realm is connected. The ancients have been telling us that since forever. And now quantum physics is going, hey.
And you all have a mother. And you all have a mother. And it's
Yeah.
time that
So,
she has been given her due and her place as the because everybody wants to know where do we come from? Whatever it was not a void. It was a womb. It was a womb, and things gestated until the universe was born. And so we have to start thinking about life as and its feminine aspects. You know, flowers don't grow angrily and bullying. I'm coming through the ground. They are nurtured.
there's
They're
a
Unless you're a weed, weeds do that.
yeah. Well, and we
there's a
need
balance
weeds.
that
We
that
need weeds, but we have to understand that everything has its purpose. Everything
yeah.
has a place. Everything belongs. When
Not
there's
that kind of weed. Skills.
all kinds of weed. Because that kind of weed makes rope, makes all kind of things. So hey,
you
and
know,
you burn
yeah,
it to keep you warm. It has purpose.
And the big lie is that we are other than, period. That we are other than, that there is other. That's the big, big lie.
I had a woman argue with me that human beings were not animals. I'm like, did you go to second grade? What the hell? She knows human beings are not animals. And
Yeah.
so when you're that disconnected from nature, you can't get to spirit. That sounds really weird,
You know,
but you have to be connected and grounded with nature to get to
this
spirit, and you understand the basics. This
this
we're
is
people,
when
we're animals.
this is when this comes in. It's probably reading backwards because of my
Yeah, I see it.
Nope,
Do
we can
not
read it.
engage with cray cray.
right.
That's your mantra. That's your
That is my
slogan.
mantra. I'm gonna libate from this.
Yes.
But it really has saved me from conversations like that. You know,
Okay. Mine
Be-
is don't be no damn fool. My mother taught me that. Don't be no damn fool.
hey, one of my grandmas that I love so much is I know you ain't that stupid.
My mother was good for one word. And
right.
you know, I so appreciate you being here and taking this wacky crazy show that we are building here uh into an even another direction. We're kind of defying the what is it, comedy, is it whatever that's it's marcher. It's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff goes through my brain, and I like it like that. I
Oh yeah.
like that we can go off on different tangents and learn stuff and teach stuff and share stuff and give people just another picture. I've always thought that my job as a comedian is to not just show you a picture, but show you another way of looking at it, to tilt the camera, to give you another perspective. And so when we can take things in this direction, I am very gratified about it. So thank you for being here. I wish we had more time, but we're
Oh, Ma,
what?
can I didn't say anything.
Okay, I'm so sorry, honey. I didn't mean no. I didn't mean first of all
I
that
was
we would
wondering where we
we
going.
would
I'm like,
have
Ma,
to go bye bye. But I smoked a little weed. Sometimes give mama a little grace. Uh,
I love you, Ma. And well, I'm hyped tonight because you saying that you're a woman supremacist. I'm coming out tonight, letting it be known I'm a supremacist. I am a son supremacist. And okay,
okay,
and and other than that, also I love that Chico. Forgive me for
All right.
pronouncing
Maurice.
your name. Kekawai, for
No,
being
I'm
on this.
I'm trying to give another alternative, easier to
Oh,
pronounce name here.
Yes.
So Maurice
I was so
is
excited.
how I met her.
You the first witch I ever met. And the thing about it is, I was always fascinated with y'all when I was younger. Like one of my favorite movies when I was younger, you won't believe this, but The Witches of Eastwick. You know what I'm saying? And dude, I can't remember the actor's name. Who that played the warlock, the main
Yeah,
guy.
that was Jack Nicholson.
Yes, yes, yes. So, and then when you were saying when you were younger, um, being able to learn at a young age how to meditate. A lot of I wish I were. I'm still trying to figure that out now. But the way that you were saying how you teach your students that just how to calm down, where because I focus on that, trying to meditate more than just the whole that simpleness of what you're saying, just being able to be calm in a
Yeah.
moment and not letting your emotions take over.
Yeah.
Sit down
There,
and
there are
breathe.
actual there are actual techniques that every
I
culture.
always
I know we're running over time.
always pitch
Yeah.
better,
No,
Uh,
please.
no, take it. We really don't have a set time, but
all right.
we're
Well,
beyond the pale tonight.
cool.
But that's all right. Go for it.
But the thing about meditation is that there are actual techniques of meditation that are guaranteed to work because it's scientific. It's not just a bunch of metaphysical hoo-ha. We know that when you're in different moods, your breath does different things depending on what's going on. You can learn to control that, and you can learn to go deeper by certain practices and certain mantras that have to do with tone. Because look how big ASMR is right now, because people are finding that certain tones calm them down. And there may not be the normal tones that you might think of, like music or this or that. It might be some weird ass thing, but for that person, it clicks in. So that's also part of it. So there are actual techniques, and these are the what I teach are the common denominators that I've learned over the years of meditation. So that's what my meditation workshop is called, Shut Your Monkey. And it literally is about learning how to calm the fuck down at will, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah. And it's always good.
I've never learned those, but I have learned how to stop, breathe, take take yourself out of whatever situation you are. If you can't take yourself out physically, then take yourself out. I, I'm just not going to focus on that. And I
You're
found
also
for
one of the
me,
Mom, you're also one of the coolest people I've ever met as far as just temperament. Your temperament stays right here naturally. It's quite
oh,
annoying.
thank you. Well, it's
Well,
quite
you ain't
annoying.
never seen a Matt. I seen Mom Matt.
Well,
You
I,
ain't never seen
I
me
I've
mad.
known her longer than both of y'all. And I can tell you, which you both already know, that she can be swimming really smooth as a swan above the water. But below the water, there's a lot of action going on.
That's
Yeah,
true.
you know,
Sure.
I'm a Pisces. I'm a Pisces. This is my completion cycle.
I love it.
This is when it comes time for rebirth. You know, I'll be in a whole nother dimension. This is the winter of my being. So,
Yeah.
fuck it. Fuck it. What are you gonna do? What you gonna do? And so I hope that we can have more conversations
Oh yeah.
that are not Christian centered. Not that there is anything wrong with it, even though how it's been uh, co opted in this country. Yes, there are things that I found very much wrong with it. Uh, I, the whole notion that it's used to not support white male supremacy, that it validates it, that it gives white men dominion over the world, and that's just a total misread of whatever it's supposed to be. However, people who have faith and people who uh, can talk on a human level, it doesn't matter what the foundation that you were taught. It does to me. It doesn't matter as long as you embrace and can find the humanity in people and the things that we have in common
Yeah.
in our disparate practices and faiths, and a lot of through lines that run between all of them, run through all of them, and if you're susceptible, if you're willing, then you can meet people on that level every day, just in passing. I hope that
100%.
made any kind of fucking sense.
Well, it did. And one of those through line common denominators that is there, but we've kind of lost a lot of it in most of the major religions, is the balance between the masculine and the feminine in this realm of duality. The feminine has been vilified, it's been thrown out, it's been abused, it's been everything in most of the Western religions.
It's been
And
redefined.
yeah, absolutely. And so when
But
you
I
go
also
to the
think that
indigenous way, it doesn't matter what indigenous culture you go back to, but you can go back to each one of us right here, and everybody on the planet can go back however far they want to go back. And what you're going to find are some people dancing naked around a fire and talking about the mother and the goddess would be at the height of most ceremonies. At the same time, the masculine is always going to be there because they both have different roles in the same universe. This is the realm of duality. But for whatever reason, religions started leaning, well, religions started off leaning with the male on top, with that patriarchy thing. But the indigenous cultures and the traditions, the old stuff, just go back in whatever religion or whatever, not religion, but whatever culture you want to go back in. And you're going to find, I'm in Mexico right now. And everywhere you go, you can feel the mama energy here. You can feel the goddesses here. It
Well, we
doesn't feel
have
like that in LA.
embrace, and it's always there. You can't get away from it. But what I find that when we don't acknowledge it, most of us don't know what to do when we lose our matriarchs, our mothers, our mama. We don't understand because we've created a linear understanding and not a circular
Yeah.
understanding and cyclical. It's not winter doesn't end; it becomes spring and then it comes back after when it's time. It's a cycle, and when you think linearly, then you have left, right, wrong, up. You don't think about, and it also helps you to stay calm because if you think cyclically and circularly, it's going to come back around. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it. It's not like the end of the world. There is no fucking end of the world.
Yeah. There you go. There it is.
So
I mean, one of the things about religions, you'll notice that in all of the ancient cultures, when it was time for you to gather for council meeting or just family stuff or religious ritual or whatever, it was always in a circle. You sat in the circle. The head guy or the head woman is sitting at the same level in the same circle around the same fire. So if the leader says some dumb shit, from where you're sitting, you can see everybody else's face. You can see everybody, and everybody can see you. So everybody can see everybody in a circle. Then what happens when the Western religion and different religions came along and put people in rows? What happened? They put them in rows, and then they put the main dude above them,
and you make a pyramid
and
that
it's
and
a
it
weird.
goes up and that comes down. It's like pyramids are great as long as you put another one on top because it's got to be a
And think
circle.
about it: if you're in rows, and somebody and the preacher or somebody in charge, or a politician or somebody says something crazy, well, you might be able to look to the person to the right and to the left, but you don't know what the person behind you is thinking, and you don't know what the person in front of you is thinking. All you got looking at you is that person up there in that podium. But in the old way, it was always a circle. Everybody's looking at everybody equal. So, in a way, and along the same lines of what you were saying about that linear thinking, that
Yes,
linear way of doing things is completely inefficient when it
and
comes
it's
to.
unnatural. Unnatural.
Yeah, very, very
We
much
talk
so.
about circles, cycles, helixes. The concept of a horizon being an end and not another circle. It's
Right.
just very limiting. And so we think about the end of a day and not that we were just the wheel is turning into another cycle. Uh,
Yeah. We should have a whole other chat about this, and we'll go through the whole thing.
no, there's so much more to talk about, so many more concepts, but everything has a beginning, has a basis. If we can start getting down to the basis, where did this come from, and not look at how all it's done. What is it that motivates people uh, either to accept the concepts of duality and cyclical life, and what is it that makes them not?
Hmm.
Where did this come from? Somebody made up everything. Somebody made up all this shit. What was happening before? Somebody
Yeah,
made that shit up.
that's it right there. Somebody decided, oh, here's how it is. And some people said, okay, we'll go with that.
Right. And if you didn't, they got rid of you or marginalized you. I mean, it can be very deliberate. What's the natural thing that they built that thing upon? Like you
That's
said,
what that's why
where's
more
when
people are
everybody
becoming
was
witches.
dancing and drawing pictures and can appreciate that the beauty of a Bible is not what it says, but that it exists. the fact that people can communicate throughout time, uh, uh, forward and back, because they created a way to collect thought, to collect imagination, to collect and preserve stories. And you can appreciate that. It doesn't matter what it says.
And
The
then they
thing-
also used it to manipulate people and get them to do what they wanted.
Yeah, yeah. The
but
indigenous cultures, this is why, in my way of doing things, like from Mexico, I'm going to be heading to South Dakota
Huh.
to Native American ceremonies. There, the Sundance ceremony, which in the U.S. was illegal till the 70s, even though a lot of traditional people were still doing it. But I'm part of that ritual, that celebration. And when I'm there, I'm respecting exactly how they do things. I'm not bringing in something outside into that circle, because all these different ways of getting to that place of connection, that or more connection, more tangible connection, all different cultures have figured out different ways to do. And so there, when you mix rituals, that's kind of dangerous. And sometimes it's not really dangerous, it's just ineffective. It's like trying to listen to two different radio stations at the same time. Why would you do that? They're different channels. So it's not that you can't do that, and it's not necessarily a horrible thing to do that, but it's just not efficient.
yeah,
So I get back. So that's why I went back to, over the years, even though I studied all these different ways, when it comes to what I'm trying to help people with, is to find your own thing that makes sense. Be respectful to different things that you've learned from different areas. But like, I'm not going to be doing an Oshun dance when I'm doing a Kali Puja in India.
I
well,
mean,
who
come
does?
on.
I mean, yeah. I mean, who does that?
Who would do
Right.
that?
Oh, wait a minute. You know I live in Bali. I'll tell you who does that.
Okay, now we're off on a whole nother conversation. You know, I live in Bali. Just throw that shit off. Like, I mean, come on. Yeah, we just saw that written all
Oh,
over
yeah,
your
we
fucking
forgot.
face.
Because that's the thing. I have people come to me with problems, and I say, well, what have you been doing? And one of the things that happens often is when they start telling me about their spiritual practices, they have taken something from this African tradition, from this Cuban tradition, from this Native American tradition, and they jumbled them all up. And where it's not that you can't take inspiration from them, but when you start using specific things that they use for specific things in a different way, now you're playing with fire, because there's a certain kind of energy, and you learn this by going deep into the thing. Like if I go to a peyote ceremony, there are some beautiful peyote songs, uh, and those songs are for that ritual. Now, for shits and giggles, sure, I could sing one at a party, you know. But if I'm trying to do something spiritual that's not specifically that ceremony, I'm not going to do that song, because I know energetically what that song does. Because it's not just tradition, culture, symbolism, all that's included, but it's actually energetic, it's scientific.
We don't appreciate that our songs, our rituals, our uh, customs and practices have the same power and should have the same reverence.
Right.
You know, like I said, I was reading about Watch Night, Freedom's Eve, and Hush Harbors, and to imagine people stealing away, stealing away for community, and singing very softly and getting that same kind of spiritual power and energy that you're talking about is specific to another practice. We are not taught to have reverence for our own things that
Yeah.
we take for granted because we know them so internally. And on that note, like I said, I could talk to you forever. I know we'd be on the phone forever. I can talk to these guys. You know, these are my sons, and I love you all, and I'm grateful that you're around. I have gathered a lot of information that I'm going to be sharing with people, but and we've never had a guest stay till the end of the fucking show. So this is a new out. Bye-bye. So what we do now is Skillz. Where are you going to be next?
This Friday, I'll be at Jimmy Kimmel's. I'm back in town, y'all, for Show Those Skills Fridays over at Jimmy Kimmel right here on the strip. Yeah, and I'll be back next Tuesday at the Marshaverse. Yeah, Denny.
You ain't with Lunel?
Oh yeah, and I'm with Lunel. I'm with Lunel Sunday and Monday at Jimmy Kimmel's at 10 p.m.
Okay. All right. And Steven, where are you going to be?
You can see me July 18th at Don't Tell Comedy. Go to don'ttellcomedy.com, and if you purchase a ticket, they will tell you the secret place where the comedy show is going to be. July 18th, don'ttellcomedy.com.
Okay. And Chokae Maurice Popovich, sir, where are you going to be?
I'm gonna be right here in Mexico City, eating like a beast.
Okay. And you just finished the last age ride, correct?
Yeah, we just finished the last age ride.
And
Really powerful stuff. So I'll be heading from Mexico City to South Dakota. Then I'll be in Nevada for Burning Man. I'll be out there for almost a month, and then.
Okay, well maybe you come back again, and we'll hang out and have breakfast.
I hope so. I hope we can do that after I'm in Nevada. It would be really awesome if I can figure out a way to pop over and see you guys.
We'll try to make it work. And to all of the Marshaverse Martians and granny groupies and all the people who support us, we hate to beg, but share, subscribe, comment, ask us a question. If you have a question you always wanted to ask a lesbian, I'm a lesbian. Ask me. If you have anything you want to comment about this show or any of the others, you can always go back and watch past episodes, and you can tell us what you might like to see in future episodes. We probably ain't going to do it, but it's nice to hear from you from time to time. Thank you for spending time with me. I've had a ball this evening, and I look for my supplemental video on the meaning of midnight. Y'all take care. And Maurice, Chokae, do you have a final word? I'd like to give the young people a last word that they can take with them.
I'm just going to say, everybody in the village got a skill. So find whatever yours is and know it's valuable.
Okay.
Just know that you're valuable. Everybody in the village got a skill, and we need everybody. That's
right. And you matter. Thank you. You matter to us. So come back and see us again. Good night.
I will.
Marsha.
Got away, no one can do it like that. Her own style, no one can wear that hat. Hey, don't you know that the queen is back? She's back, she's back. She withstands the test of time. When it comes to strength, she comes to mind. Knock her down, she gets back up again and again. I'm talking about Marsha. Marsha. You know you got it. You know you got it. No one can tell a joke like that. Got you laying on the ground, cracking up.